Hello everyone and welcome back to the Spearhead cast with me Matt. Everyone we want for you all here on a map called Southern Alblasavad, I think. Alblasavad? Looks like it's a raining map. It's gonna be on the eastern front. Let's go through the players. Representing the Germans today, we have Duke Marmalade playing as Ostdivision for the Wehrmacht. Representing the Soviet Union, we have Theo without a command track yet. Here, that's seen double Osttruppen starting out here. This should be interesting. This is a map I've never seen before, so let's see how it'll turn out. Got a nice little look to it. I like the raining effects. Troops are gonna fight in a very wet terrain then. Gonna have a little bit of a quiet before the storm, and it's a nice little stream here, negative cover, with a track and a Sherman evidently. And then a small lake down here with a downed glider by the looks of it. Probably intended to be somewhere in the Benelux area doing a rainstorm. Because I can see several glider bits around. Those have we have the pioneers that might engage with the conscripts here shortly. Yep, and the conscripts take some shots, and that's going to make the pioneers try and get into a better position somewhat. The conscripts are going to secure as much ground as they can for the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, Osttruppen are arriving around, trying to secure ground for the Germans. Lots of Eastern Europeans that have been conscripted to fight for the German Wehrmacht on the Eastern Front, and also the Western Front, evidently, mostly around Normandy, as far as I understand. But I mostly know them from all the people the Germans basically used as cannon fodder on the Eastern Front, or backline forces, because they had a very mixed reputation of not really being the best at their job. Many of them would desert and other stuff. That's just why they were relegated to rear-line duties for the most part. And they're very poor quality infantry, by the way. However, they do benefit from the Kampfkraft Center, unlike other militia-type units, or the Strafttruppen as an example. So they can actually become somewhat potent if one utilizes the Kampfkraft Center. And if the Soviets are like spreading out and going around, they actually stopping the Germans bringing their fuel, which could be a very big deal. That's a lot of Osttruppen already in the center here. Lots of Osttruppen. Oh, there was a Molotov on him, but they managed to dodge it. Well, yeah, we have the pioneers fighting against the conscripts here. Doing a little bit better with the MP40 and their squad leader. Molotov going out on them though. As it's aim for the Osttruppen. And more conscripts trying to flank. Do note that I believe Osttruppen get a bonus when fighting behind cover. I think, but I might be wrong. Oh, pioneers got hit. Don't want to lose those pioneers. But so far it looks like the Osttruppen are doing pretty well. There's a Maxim inside the church though. Quickly mowing down an entire squad of the Osttruppen. But the Serbers on the southern flank also managed to fight off one of the Osttruppen. Osttruppen are very poor quality, but they are very cheap. Normally Germans don't get that cheap infantry after all. The main issue is that they don't really have a squad leader with an MP40. That really shows. Or a squad leader with a submachine gun. And not having a submachine gun really shows early on for your units. Because that squad leader can sometimes be a very big deal if the enemy gets too close or medium range. But that's a lot of rifles still going in on these Sabers. Lots of Kar-98 shots, which they are accurate enough, as you can see. Those Sabers might not get away. Nope, they did not.
Brave infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice.
The Germans need to capture this point to get their fuel, because it's a cut-off point. And the Osttruppen can safely secure the southern flank now for a bit. Ooh, there's 2 points down here, so that's a lot of resources. Probably one of these are intended to be a victory point. Play with the victory point command. That's at least what I'm imagining. Just a soothing sound of rain. What a storm they end up finding in here. Must be very uncomfortable for both sides. Now the conscripts are getting some shots in on the Osttruppen. Here by this destroyed glider. Ooh, and that's one of the Osttruppen down. Well, we also have a squad of Sabers down here. Keeping an eye on the flank. Osttruppen are going to try and get closer for egg grenade, I think. Yep, egg grenade going out. A much cheaper and poor variant of grenade used by several German forces. Not the best grenade, but it was very cheap and easy to make, I believe. Not looking good here for the Osttruppen. They have to pull further back into a better cover position. Like, when conscripts can beat Osttruppen, you have a little bit of a weird situation after all. But the Russians are actually running low on troops. They are getting a shock infantry though now, so Bio has gone for shock army, which is generally a very strong commander. So we are going to see an MD-42 come out here though for the Ost Division. As the Osttruppen are mostly being relied upon to fight. Looks like the Sappers were pushed off down here, or the Sappers moved back to build up the base. Hard to tell. Now the Osttruppen are behind the sandbags here, although one guy isn't, so he'll be a little bit easier to hit. But I think at long range the Osttruppen will do decently enough. Now we have the shock troopers on the field here, not the actual shock troopers, just shock Panzerviki you can get from the HQ building a shock army. Armed with SVTs, so pretty damn lethal. MT-42 setting up. Cover the field points. Shots being fired from the down tank. You know, the Maxim remains in that church, keeping an eye on the center. There's some long range firefights here. No, nothing drastic going on. It's a decent little 1v1 so far. But the Germans are getting a little bit too close to the German base, Russian base here, which might surprise them. They might be out of range now of the Duschke turret actually, bunker. But Germans are actually securing a lot of ground with all these Osttruppen. But now the shock troopers are soon going to show themselves, and they are with double DPMs, a pretty potent combination. Need to be in a very good position though, and behind cover they will do decently with those double DPMs. Especially long range against all these Osttruppen. But the Osttruppen do have heavy cover. So it's pushing up with some counter-attack by the looks of it, some breakthrough tactics. Allows them to decapture points rapidly. And Osttruppen everywhere, so many Osttruppen. It's good to see someone actually making good use of them though. I rarely see people that actually use them that reliably. But I guess in the 1v1 they can really just change the favor for the Germans because they no longer suffer from a lack of manpower with them. I think the Soviets might need to invest in an early vehicle or something else, but the Germans are getting a Panzerjäger. That's a Gewaltladung killing 3 of the conscripts. Soviets are taking up for support Campaneer. They could also get a full-on shock trooper now, which will probably be my own opinion, probably help a lot against Osttruppen. Especially if you arm them fully with PPSHs, but that is very costly to do. Especially with this double DPM here. The Russians are holding on to some points, but the Germans are just going to keep advancing, I think. Utilizing the Osttruppen very reliably. Which is a strange thing to say. About more coming out here for the Soviet Union. We do have a Panzerjäger squad waiting in the back here with a Panzerschreck. Just hear the soft rain. It's very soothing, this, actually. Just listening to the rainfall. You have another shock Panzerviki coming onto the field. Looks like the Soviets just going to rely on shock Panzerviki with double DPM, might wager.
A new half-track has arrived.
What I personally go for if I ever get these guys, I actually tend to just skip these guys, is 1 DPM and PPSHs, because that way they can also deal with enemies reliably on short range and medium range, although they already have SVTs, so... Ow! That was a mine! I missed that! You remember, German infantry can lay mines, and Osttruppen most definitely can. Oh, we have a little bit of lag spike there, that was awkward. Ooh, Panzerjägers are moved into position here, they know what's coming. Just need to get a good shot off. Oh, they're trying to get the shot. And they hit it! That's a very good ambush right there. That's how you do it, just wait for the right opportunity to fire. Probably a smoke grenade to cover their retreat. No, there's just a fragmentation grenade actually. Booby trap on the point now, which I also believe Ost Division can do, and actually Osttruppen can booby trap. Grenade though, doesn't trigger the booby trap, but almost kills the Ost Division, or Osttruppen rather. You have a T-70 coming down to the field. Oh, they have a minesweeper? Well, whatever it was. Oh, I guess the grenade did take out the booby trap then? I'm a little bit confused. That's a 4F1 coming onto the field. Now the problem for the tank is that All Ostrom arrive with Panzerfausts, so they don't actually need to upgrade it. T-70 pushing northwards. The machine gun cannot fight a T-70. But Ostrom now moving up to intercept. And the Ostrom can just intercept most places, and the Soviets actually taking heavy casualties here against just Ostromen. I guess it kind of shows how useful they actually can be in a 1v1. And the Shock Army is very expensive for the Soviets to play, because it's the most costly of their commanders, I believe, with their units. Like, the Shock Army forces are not cheap. But because they intend to be very high quality, so. But I think that's what he needs to get back to the reinforcement area. You're gonna see a Sysgun come out, probably in anticipation for Panzer IV, and good call at that, because we do have a Panzer IV F1 about to reach the front line. Here it is. The equipped with an MG42 on top. No Kampfkraft center for the Germans though. And looks like a Sapper got ripped to pieces here by the Proudmower. Proudmower is very dangerous to German infantry squads, especially ones that aren't behind heavy cover. More booby traps going out, it's good to see. People like to using their commander abilities, or command specific abilities. Ostrom after all can booby trap, which is pretty handy. Only 50 munitions. That's actually quite costly for what it does, I think. But it does slow down an enemy advance. Next time I have to worry about. Ah, we're gonna see some mines being laid here by some Shock Army from Taviki. Set it up quick, then pull back. Ooh, high explosives should kill one of them. But now I think the Germans now realize there's a mine there because they saw them lay it. So they have to be a little bit cautious on that angle. Yes, I believe the shock troopers can lay mines because that's actually most of their AT is through mines. Maybe it's actually only these guys and the shock engineers that can. Not the actual shock troopers, but I may be mistaken. It's been a long time since I played. Meanwhile, the Osttruppen are laying mines everywhere. It's good to see. Another Regal mine right there. And then more booby traps. Very good play here from the Germans. Utilizing their advantages. Probably plenty of mines scattered around. But they are taking a lot of munitions on this. But cheap. Also have a light field gun here. Unique to shock. Fires explosives only. Can fire a heat round though. Pretty good unit I found. I actually like to use this one myself. Somebody driving around. There's an MG42 still up there. We also have the Panzerjägers nearby there waiting. Wait for a clean shot. Laying low and waiting. Like, very good play from the Germans here. They've even booby-trapped the building, which, yes, you can booby-trap buildings. Which is a thing the Germans did. And they did it a lot, actually. It's a good showcase in one of the Company of Heroes 1 Tales of Valor campaigns, where you essentially discover a booby-trap building in one of the cutscenes, I believe, and it goes disastrous for the Americans. Germany even tries to tell them not to open a specific cabinet because it's booby-trapped. Yeah, that's stuff the Germans did, and they did a lot of it, especially late war. Oh, we have a firefight down here. Just double DPM pinning down the Osthoven. F1 is going to push up after them. There is a Sysgun though. Doesn't hit. High Explosion did a good shot there though. The F1 realizes there's a Sysgun, keeping an eye on it. Do have some PPS agents here on one of the shock fronts of Iggy. It should not be underestimated because it does actually suppress. It says it's suppressive right there. Oh, looks like they spotted the Panzerjägers. I'm gonna try and Molotov them, but the Panzerjägers are just gonna run off. And the Ostrom just keep putting in some accurate rifle fire to the best of their abilities. And well, shock troopers moving up here. Decorating away. Obviously it doesn't do much because of where they are. Need to be cautious though, because we don't know how many mines there are. Oh, there's one down here. That's about it. And of course the building is booby-trapped. Like, people really forget that you can booby-trap buildings, which is a very potent thing to do, by the way. Because I think it just sets the building aflame, or destroys it, or just does a lot of damage to the spot that enters. Of course, if we'll ever see them entering the building, we'll notice it. Keep an eye on it. Ah, mine being laid here. Good thing for the shock troopers to do. Both sides are mining a lot. Panzer F1 pushing up here. Towards the Maxim in the church, which probably has to pull out. And the Ostrup push into the center of the town. Montevideo is pulling back to try and intercept. But the shock troopers have to pull further back, I think. They're regrouping. And behind some more walls there. And the F1 keeps doing a good job for being infantry support here in the rear with its stubby gun. Meanwhile, the Soviets are trying to push up down here, but there's an MG42. But this light gun could take a shot at it. Shock troopers have to pull further back. Thanks to securing the northern flank though. More Ostrup are going to move up to intercept. Infantry gun is now trying to get shots in here on the MG42. Already doing some damage to the cover there, so it's getting close. F1 pulling back, but there's a assist gun coming the rear and taking it out. Maximilian inside this building. We're going out here from the Ostruppen. Doing some decent damage with the grenade actually. Panzergers have been spotted by something. Soviets have another regimental field gun. They've set up a full HQ here in this shed to operate from. Oh, this field gun is doing a decent job, even pinning down the Ostruppen. If they're pinned, they cannot really do much if they are on a continuous fire. So the MG42 was forced to run too. The Germans are banning the southern flank. But Ostruppen keeps securing parts back. A little bit of a back and forth here. But after being spotted by the shock troopers, they abandoned, and the T-70 nearby. You do have a Panzer IV-H on the battlefield, the best version of the Panzer IV. However, you can get the Elephant or Ferdinand. Technically it's a Ferdinand, but it becomes an Elephant when you upgrade its engine, I believe. From the final tier building as Ostdivision. But just lots of Ostruppen. Lots of Eastern Europeans here. Oh no, there's another mine. Those mines are doing a lot of work. And we're gonna see the naval infantry, the unique battle group available to the Soviet shock army. Nice to see them. I personally really like the naval infantry. Unfortunately, they cannot have a unique model, but that's the best they could have done with them, I guess. Cool to see them. Appreciate it. A very cool unit. Came down with Tommy guns, actually, and I believe they actually don't have Musina guns. They use a different rifle. I just don't know what rifle it is. It's apparently the Soviet naval infantry use different rifles? Or something? I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but I guess because the Soviet Navy didn't really get much fighting done in World War II, their naval infantry kind of fought as shock troopers. Or assault infantry, basically. They're pretty good at their job, though. Throwing a grenade there. They don't have the body armor of the actual shock troopers, though, but they're pretty cool. Building on fire there. So some shots are going on the Panzerjägers. Artillery going in here. Ah, there's a Leutnant here, so that's where the artillery is from. Leutnant going inside the building here when it hits MP38s. This artillery just bombs that area. Grenade going out here from the naval infantry. Ooh, high explosive missed them. They might want to retreat because there's an MG42 sitting up. Ooh, not looking good for them. And yeah, that's a dead naval infantry squad. So lots of back and forth at the moment. Only one squad of naval infantry remains. We also have a half man onto the field. The Germans are getting all their officers out now. Panzer 4H driving northwards. There's only the T-70 up there to intercept it. I suppose naval infantry do have AAT grenades. That's a grenade though from the Osttroppen. Wasn't hit close enough. Shock troopers also nearby with their PPSHs. Plan to use the wing of the glider for cover. And the light infantry gun is also doing a job. Panzer 4H is taking a high explosive shot but misses. Oh wait, they don't have high explosive, they have heat. Oh, they replaced the high explosive with a heat shell. Not sure that's the smartest move, but whatever suits your boat, I guess. Because heat is not really the best against infantry, it has a much lower chance to hit the infantry. I suppose sometimes you want it in case they get like a T-3045 or something. Oh, T-70 has been able to hold fire, it's busy hitting. Speaking. Also shock troopers up here. If they can get close to this Panzer 4, but for some reason this wing, no, it's not actually considered a side block for some reason. Because I noticed that sometimes the glider parts are considered side blockers, which is pretty awkward sometimes. Oh, Panzerstrike on the Hauptmann. Oh, they picked up from the dead Panzerjäger, okay. Panzer's fighting off against some Osttruppen down here. Still no Kampfkraftcenter though. I think the Kampfkraftcenter could probably have helped the Germans here. Because you could have upgraded the veterancy of all the Osttruppen. And having my veterancy free Osttruppen out of the gate will actually make them a little bit decent. Maximum keeping an eye on this Lieutenant. Has to get the hell out of there. These regimental guns are also doing a pretty decent job. And I should not call them infantry guns, I believe they're just called regimental guns. Pretty good though. And indeed we are going to see T-3045, so perhaps the reheat round is probably a good call from Duke Marmalade. We also have a 2-2-1, that's going to become a 2-2-2. That was nearby, we might see Cabal. No, we don't have munitions for Cabal here. Germans have used a lot of their munitions. Lots of small explosions now happening throughout this rainstorm. Ooh, and this light infantry gun is, our regimental gun is doing a pretty decent job just keeping the Osttruppen at bay. Just copious amount of high explosive shells. This shit is really providing a front line for the Soviets to stabilize around. Hauptmann staying up here with his Panzerschreck. Hauptmann himself has a Sturmgewehr if you're playing Ost. You can see him there with it. Ooh, needs to be cautious though because of that regimental gun. The Germans still hold their munitions and fuel, so it's not all bad. The two rushing southwards. Oh, looks like the Panzer 4H took a big shot from something. Ah, the mine! I forgot there was a mine there. Right. I think it was that. It might also just been a field gun. Two on the flank down here. Not anything to stop it, really. And immediately that, the MG42 and the Lieutenant has got to take advantage. We also have the Pioneers with the Panzerbüchse trying to push up somewhat. Panzer 4H on the southern flank as well, that'll certainly help. But we do have a T-3045 on the field. Already being upgraded with the improved armor.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Well, Maxim trying to shoot out here from an almost destroyed building. That's not gonna last long. Regimental guns are doing a great job though. And the two is opening fire. Building somehow survives. There, no way, there it goes. Collapses. T-3045 coming down. That might be a dead 2-2-2. Oh, missed. Now that the Panzer IV know there's an 85. That 85 is very potent. Looks like the naval infantry has gotten a DPM to work with. And it's just moving up behind as well to secure the point, probably. Well, Panzerjägers on the field here.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Not looking too good for the Germans, I feel, but they are able to hold them off thanks to those Osttruppen just providing some field presence. It's hard to tell what's going to happen from it.
Our brave infantry is dying.
Doctor was moving up here now with a double DPM. They're gonna enter that building? No. I would love to see how the booby trap triggering. Because I've not seen the building booby trap trigger in a very, very long time. Which because no one uses the booby traps. Just gonna opening fire here. Heat round being loaded here. Let's see if it'll hit. Nope, doesn't hit. Most of them are gonna set up behind though to use the tank as cover, I think. Remember, you cannot get suppressed when you're fighting near a tank. It also does provide cover and protection, so obviously. But that is a lot of Osttruppen running out in the open towards DPMs now. Big grenades being thrown. Not doing too well there. Also see a Soviet howitzer being set up here now. At 152mm, that'll certainly win the fight for the Soviet Union, I think. As the Germans can make a breakthrough somewhere. They do have double Panzer Force. But that 85 is a pretty scary thing to try and engage at range.
Rifleman ready. Engineer standing by. What do you need?
But I'm getting spotted down here. Once it's getting close, they're trying to change fire with the MP38s. Oh, good shot there from the regimental gun. 2 is still working. Oh! Regimental gun killed the conscripts! Ooh, friendly fire! Ooh, that's not good. That's the problem with it. It can't cause friendly fire because of objects. Who's getting very close here? Oh, yeah, and the field gun took a shot. Gonna force that to 2 back. And now the howitzer's firing. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. You do have a mortar half track arriving. Be cautious of its positioning though. It's actually in range of that 80 gun. Ooh. And there it goes. It's not looking good here for the German force. Panzer force rushing upwards, so there's only really that 80 gun to stop it. Yes, for the Vega do have simple 80 grenades though, but I don't think that'll be enough. Oh, that one actually did. Building goes down. Did I actually kill off that squad? Might have. Fight him. That's very awkward. Panzer force almost destroyed though. This T-70 might actually get a kill. It does! Right through the flank. Panzer force pushing up down here though, but it's suffering some hits. Especially from the 85 nearby. Oh, not looking good. Big German losses all of a sudden. You see an extra man on the Osttruppe now because they're veteran C2. Veteran C2 allows them to get this upgrade. An extra man. Not sure what this 2-2 is doing. Oh, missed. Oh, and it's being a distraction. Hansiger's got a good shot in. And the T-34 has been immobilized. But the 2-2 goes down. Panzerjägers cannot get a shot off here. There's something blocking the side of the Panzerschreck. Panzer up here in this little crater. And they get it. Not looking good for the Germans, though they've taken quite a lot of losses. We have more naval to call in alongside 85 as part of the battle group. So the naval is trying to keep back the Osttruppen and the officer though. To do his best to lead these Eastern Europeans against the Soviets. Eastern Europeans against Eastern Europeans, basically. I actually think a lot of Osttruppen were actually Russians. Who were basically forced into it because it was either that or starved to death in the prisoner camps because the Nazis were not really that good at keeping their Russian prisoners alive, you know? Pretty harsh stuff. Nazis were, after all, pretty freaking horrible people. Again, overall, on the Eastern Front, stuff was just brutal. Very brutal compared to the Western Front. The worst of humanity showing. Those shock troopers, probably no one is fighting in the front against the Panzer IV like that, but still trying to take the point. Do a field gun coming up, and a regimental gun is still there to support. And this is a Panzer IV-H after all, so it's still a bit decent. They got that crew that assist gun though. High explosive loaded, and they'll probably hit. We'll need to see if it hits the wall in front though. Oh, we got it. Now they just have to deal with the regimental gun, which only fires high explosives, so it's not the best. Oh, this squad's just lost their marker. That is so weird. It's a funny bug. Or visual glitch. It might only be on my replay though. Oh no. How awkward. We have the naval infantry trying to move down on the southern flank. Germans are trying to stabilize the best they can. Pushing up here with the Panzer IV and the officer and some Osttruppen. That's awkward with that squad there. E-70 goes go down though. Grenade going out. And the howitzers firing again near the Soviet base right in front of it. Squad gets killed though. Only one shock trooper squad left. 85 took a shot, didn't penetrate. Panzer IV has to be very cautious with it when it's engaging. Yep. One good shot from 85 kills the crew. Double DPM now on the naval infantry. Meanwhile, the other naval infantry could secure the southern flank. Although an ambush is set up here by the MG42. Luke G being called onto the field now for the Germans. Emergency air reserve, so air supply being called in, which is unique to Ostdivision. I believe also, no, I believe Luftwaffe also gets it, but they get an MG44 and a PaK-40. Yeah, dropped in for their use. Oh, Russians are going to try and steal the Panzer IV. Ooh. They do get a grenade off. And wow, the naval infantry actually wins out. And he T-poses for dominance afterwards. But for how long? The infantry is holding on very well down here. But can they fight against all these Osttruppen as well? That would neck raid as well. I think that might be the naval infantry. Yep.
Brave infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice.
Luke G on the field. This got a good penetration on it. Goes of a truck here to quickly try and repair the Panzer IV. And the German base is actually being hit here. It's not looking good for the Wehrmacht. Hauptmann also as well. Yeah, the Germans are running out of munitions. They're trying to call in an artillery barrage though. Might be their best call to try and buy some time, but they lost one in the base structures.
Our forces increase.
The artillery does something at least, but the shock troopers are not really that moved by it. And we also have the 85s arriving. Putting a high explosive shell here. Killing the Hauptmann. Luke G is going to desperately try and hold down the front line. Not going to be the easiest thing for it to do. Putting high explosive rounds. Get the best shot there. 85 moving up for a shot. Booby trap almost killed the shock troopers. Luke's going to try and take a shot at the 85. Doesn't penetrate. Infantry gets penetrated. MG42 still holds down here thanks to some Osttruppen that remanded. Actually mowing down the naval infantry. We have a PaK ready here, having been manned by some Osttruppen. MG42 sitting up inside the command bunker. Or command headquarters, rather. Apparently I can do that. Yeah, but you can entrench your base buildings for all the factions, I believe. But for how long can they hold at this point? Soviets are getting more and more stuff, and they control most of the map, but the Germans do control both munitions points, so they could start to equip their units. Somewhat, but the Russians are still just getting more munitions because they own more of the map. Not looking good here. And once the howitzer starts firing again, it'll probably be the end. UG moving up to take a shot. Gotta be very risky. Panzer IV is now fully operational. Injures the gunner of it. 85 lead the way. Panzer IV is moving up. The Soviet infantry should probably follow up behind. Explosive load towards the pack. Ooh. Still alive. Not for long.
Our soldiers are trained to advance rapidly.
You can use this as an artillery piece, actually. It has the precision barrage ability. Ooh, Ostrom used to merge, because yes, you can do that. Suppose it will help hold. At least until the howitzer will start firing soon, and they almost have enough munitions for it. But was also appearing. I don't think MG42 can shoot out of this angle, though. Yeah, I can only face down here. I think. But they're just getting out of the building, yeah. Oh, pack has been cleared. That's not good. Another Stuk being called in, though. Oh, decent egg rate, actually.
The enemy has killed another infantry squad.
The Soviets could just overrun the German base at this point, I think.
Headquarters destroyed.
Yeah, they lost the headquarter building itself. The Soviets just need to push in and destroy the German base at this point.
We are suffering losses.
Yeah, looks like there's the GG has been called here.
Is ready for use.
Well, the Russians called the GG anyway. Ooh, that Stuk actually survived a lot of shells. Not for long, though. There it goes.
One of our panzers.
Oh, and Singera. Okay, so I guess this is just where it ends. Well, this was a short and interesting match, and I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, everyone. Bye-bye.